Hi, my name is Julia M. Spencer. I'm a real estate advisor, investor, and your number one source for real estate advice online. Welcome to my back porch here today. We have a beautiful December day. It's actually 2 more days till the new year. I'm so excited. I love the new year. I love the holidays. So I hope you get all giddy about it with me as well. But I did get an awesome question today by one of my YouTube watchers, YouTube subscribers. Thank you very much. By the way, if you're watching this YouTube video, make sure you click the bell there at the bottom, because that's how you'll get notified when I post new videos. And you can always leave me comments. I try to answer all of them, and a lot of my video ideas actually come from your comments, so it is very useful if you leave me comments. I'm very much interactive. I want you guys to also interact with each other, so read other people's comments, comment on them if you have something to suggest, something good to say about that. And I don't know if you can see that, but there's a reflection of my cat who's sitting right here. He's such a good cat. Whiskers is his name. Anyways, so let's get to the question. So what is wholesaling and what is it not? So I posted a video recently. I think it was called $1,000 House. It's of a house that I bought for $1,000 at an auction here in Chatham County about 1.5 years ago. I've been trying to sell right now. It's in really bad shape, really bad repair, really great opportunity for a fixer-upper type arrangement for a contractor. Very close to River Street, the most iconic place, I guess, where people go to here in Savannah, Georgia. And the question was raised when I posted the video. I basically said, well, I'm not going to fix it because I don't want to do rehabbing or anything, but I'm just going to wholesale it. And the question was raised by one of my dear listeners there. Thank you so much for this question, by the way. What do you mean you're wholesaling it? Doesn't that mean that you just assign the property to another buyer, from the seller to the buyer, and you don't actually buy it yourself? Isn't that what wholesaling is? I mean, why are you actually owning the property and saying wholesaling? So I thought it was an excellent question. I want to answer it with this video. So I get a little bit of a pet peeve about people throwing out these words out. They're making up these strategies, and then they're throwing out these words, and they're like, okay, if you're going to use this word, you have to follow my strategy, or my strategy is only this word. It's like, it's just a confusing spaghetti of words that doesn't even make sense. And I believe personally is just there to confuse newbies or new investors who are like trying to weave through all of that. We have a lot of stuff that we have to already think about with real estate investing, in terms of legal work, in terms of government officials, in terms of rules, laws, regulations. Then we got to think about our own strategies and how they work. We got to think about our cash flow and all these pieces. Sellers, buyers, real estate agents, inspectors, everybody just throw them all into this big pot, and you got to make some sort of sense of it and actually make some money. And it's very difficult. There's a lot of confusion. On top of that, people just throw in the TV shows, where everybody has unlimited budgets and everything always goes smoothly, except for maybe when the fence is a little bit too high and we have to adjust that, and oh, it's so aggravating. That's not the real world of real estate investing. Let me tell you, it's not. It does not work that way. So what I'm here to tell you is the actual real world of real estate investing. So when somebody says, well, you said wholesaling, but you're not really wholesaling. What I thought wholesaling is that you find a property that's for sale from a buyer, then you get some sort of legal process paperwork going with assignments and stuff, and some witty paperwork, I call it. And I find the buyer, and I know you're going to transfer this property, or my interest in this property, my interest in buying this property, I'm going to sell that interest to the new person, the new investor. I don't have to buy it, I don't have to lay out any money, and I'm going to collect a fee for my service to put these people together, and voila, I did my first wholesale. Yes, that strategy exists, but that's not wholesaling. That's I guess I could say it is wholesaling, but it is not what I consider wholesaling. What wholesaling means to me is when you buy a property with the intent that you're going to turn around and sell it immediately for a profit without having any intention of rehabbing it, flipping it, remodeling it, renting it, or doing anything else with it, just so you can collect whatever the profit is on the markup from versus you buying it and selling it to the next person. So that's what I consider wholesaling. You're basically selling the whole house, the whole problem, all the challenges and everything else with it, and issues, even if there's a title issue, whatever it is that you're selling, the whole thing, you sell it. And if you decide in your wise mind to use some clever paperwork to figure out some way where you don't have to put out the money, all the power to you. That's wholesaling too, but that's a subset of what actual wholesaling is. So this video is just to clear that misconception up, and also to kind of help you to think a little bit outside the box. Don't let people confuse you with terms and how they describe things and their strategies. A wholesaler using that particular strategy that I just described with assigning a property from one person to another and collecting a fee, that person, yeah, they might be using wholesaling, but they don't have, they didn't take that word hostage. So just be careful, you know, when you ask, when people says, well, this wholesaling, isn't this what wholesaling is? Just ask deeper, ask them what they actually mean. What is it they're actually doing, you know? That's exactly what you need to do. And aside from that point, I wanted to tell you to be very careful with wholesaling. If you are using some sort of process where you're the intermediary between a seller and a buyer and you're collecting a fee for that, in most states that's considered a process that will require you to have a license. And because that's exactly what real estate agents and brokers do. So if you do this without having a license, you sort of kind of run the risk of being called up on doing something illegal. I've described that in my previous videos. You have to be very careful on how your contracts and your paperwork are written. Probably should hire an attorney or learn from somebody who's really actually doing it. There's systems, I'm sure, out there that'll teach you how to do it properly. Educate yourself. Really, education is key on anything. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying just be careful and do your thinking for yourself. Don't just take somebody else's word for whatever they say and go with it, you know. Do your own critical thinking. That's my goal for you. Since we're on this video, it's called the $1,000 house. The process of doing wholesaling with assigning a property from buyer to seller doesn't really work with foreclosure sales, with tax sale foreclosures, because you can't go to an auction and win the bid and then say, okay, I can't pay you right now, I gotta find my database and my investors to give me the money to pay you, and I'm just the intermediary. You can't do, so basically that process there that I'm describing doesn't the wholesaling with the assignment doesn't work for tax sale foreclosures. You actually need to go to the auction and show up with money. Exception. There is some videos here on my YouTube channel where I went to actually the state of California. It was in San Diego. I think it was like probably like a year ago now. And they have a process where if the property's highest bid is over a certain amount, I think it's like $50,000, then you do actually have about 30 days or even more to come up with the money. So it might work there. It doesn't work here in Georgia where I live. So again, education and research. That's really everything that you need to know and do as a proficient tax sale foreclosure investor who's successful. And that's why I'm here. Make sure you subscribe to my website here at the bottom of this video and leave comments if you have any, and I look forward to hear from you again soon. Bye.
For your free guide to real estate investing, visit juliamspencer.com.